Okay, so the Orc band get another outing, and this time they will be throwing themselves against, well, the Athedain Swords of Arnor, another new unit, and this is a shock infantry unit, only the second one I've tried in this format. The Dale Paladins did very well for themselves. I'm not sure how well the Athedain Swords will do. Their stats would suggest that they probably won't be victorious, like the Mithril Guard and the Dale Paladins, but they should do quite well. But we'll see. The Orc band should fall pretty quickly to them, at the very least. I've been meaning to do something with cavalry as well, but I'm not quite sure what to do with them, because up against something like Orc band, if I were to cycle charge Orc band, it would be a bloodbath. I might just demonstrate what I mean by that, with taking the best, one of the best cavalry units in the game, and just cycle charging them into a low tier unit, just to show how lethal a charge can be. Meanwhile though, Athedain Swords, they have 60 in a unit, so that's the same as the Dale Paladins and the Helm Hammers. They are pretty damaging. They do have good armour as well. They are essentially a higher tier shock infantry than the battle ready Dunedain that Arnor and Eriador do get, although Eriador do not get these guys. Eriador get the Breland Captains instead, which are a similar unit, but they have less men, so probably not as good as the Athedain Swords overall. They seem to be doing a pretty darn good job early on here at chopping them down quickly, without losing any unit models of their own, but I do feel as though the slightly lower defense score in comparison to some other units may well work against them in the long run. We'll see. The second wave is approaching, and they still haven't lost any unit models, so that does put them ahead of the Helm Hammers, who have lost one at this point. Or was it two? I believe it was one. But yeah, the Athedain Swords have got a lot more, well, not a lot more, but they do have more killing power. They'll get the job done faster, but this is at the cost of their durability, as with all shock infantry. But then again, the Dale Paladins managed to pull through against the Orc band, so things are looking pretty good early on. It's a very good looking unit as well, using the model of the Arnor Knights. Arnor have always had a certain fashion to them. I've always been a bit more of a fan of Gondor in terms of fashion, I've got to be honest. But I can see why someone would like Arnor as well. Got that knightly appeal. Have they lost any men yet? No. Some of them are looking pretty bloody though, so I can't imagine it'll be too long before at least one of them drops. The Orc band are not doing a particularly good job though. Oh, that Orc managed to parry. Well done to him. Oh, he's dead. Well, rest in peace. So with another couple of waves down and another one on the way, they still have not lost a single unit model. This is very impressive. I didn't expect them to be quite so resolute actually. A lot of these at the back haven't even been bloodied up, so this could be a very, very impressive performance. I don't think the Dale Paladins had done this well at this point either. I think they had at least lost one or two. So we could be looking at potentially the first real challenge to the Mithril Guard. I still think the Mithril Guard will probably come out on top because their overall durability is extremely high, and they lost not a lot of men throughout the whole of this process, but even so, another wave of Orc band coming in. Still 60 out of 60 remaining. It's a very, very good performance indeed. Continually just cutting through these Orcs. This is exactly what you want to see from a high tier unit like this. And the Athedain Swords, it does seem like hacking their way through low tier units is exactly what they should be doing. With their swords, not necessarily, I think they are effective against armour, but nonetheless, the extremely high attack values means you're going to be cleaving through them without too much of a problem. Oh, they finally lost a soldier, so they have lost their first unit just before the quarter way point. But still, they're getting hacked backwards. The Orcs struggling greatly against the Athedain Swords. I hope that they're at least victorious. I think they're on the same sort of path as the Dale Paladins at least, but perhaps even greater things await them. We'll see. After a few more waves, their fate will probably become a little bit more clear. So another wave is approaching, and they've only lost a further 2 men in the last couple of waves. So they are standing firm, they're not starting to fall off at a greater rate, which with shock infantry there is always that possibility that maybe they will peter out as they get exhausted and their lack of durability next to the shielded units becomes more apparent. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case because they are standing firm in the face of a good amount of pressure, honestly. But yeah, I'm very impressed with this unit. I didn't expect them to do this well, I've got to be honest. I thought they would come in maybe behind the Dale Paladins, because I thought that the Dale Paladins, their current attack score was what sent them through. But no, actually the Athedain swords doing very well indeed. Despite their slightly lower defense score, their defense score is around the mid-40s, which is still very decent, but next to the previous unit we had a look at, the Helmhammers, their defense score is 59, so you would have expected them to do a good deal better in terms of how they deal with the pressure that's being put on them. But it looks like the Athedain swords, how quickly they're able to kill these units, is really starting to matter, which might also be why the Dalian Paladins did so well for the same reason. Still durable, but also that killing power. And the Mithril Guard, maybe the mass is what sent them through. I think we'll need to have a look at another sword and board unit to really see what's what. A really good sword and board unit of some description to see how they stack up next to the dwarves. But for the time being, the Athedain swords still doing very, very well, hacking their way through another wave without too much of a problem. We can just have a look at the bodies they've left in their wake. Anyway, it's nearly time for another wave to be committed. It doesn't look like they're going to have another casualty before this wave arrives. And there we go. Well, this is impressive, deeply impressive. Arnor, I always felt in the last patch were a little bit underpowered, but it does look like they've been restored to their former glory somewhat in more ways than one, and this unit is only a part of that. Well, they did lose another one, but to lose only 4 men on the first half of the Orc Band Horde is nothing short of top-notch. So we'll see if this is sustained in the second half as the first of those units arrives to join the fray. 56 though, only losing 4 men. That is a very, very impressive performance. I'm beginning to think they may well do better than the Dalian Paladins, although not so sure about the Mithril Guard. I think they will still be top dogs. Because I do think the Athedain swords will start to lose a few more unit models as we get into the very late game here. But we'll see. Here comes another charge. Not exactly a lethal charge that the Orc Band delivers, but nonetheless it will still do a little bit of damage, and they need all the damage they can get here. Spears first, guys. 56 out of 60. Not bad at all. And yep, a few of the earlier units of orcs are now routing. They don't want no more of that. You can see them running away out the back there. Let's see if the Athedain swords can really sustain this. Oh, they've lost another one. They should still be fine with regards to claiming victory. Oh, and another one. Well, they should still be fine. And another one! My word, suddenly. Suddenly the hit points seem to have abandoned them, but they should still claim victory. But can they remain ahead of the Dalian Paladins? And indeed, can they maintain their defense? Because they've done so well up till now. It's only now when it looks like their lack of their somewhat lower defense than the shielded units is going to bite them a little bit, but they still have their swords. They're very high attack, so we'll see how they manage to play the endurance game here in the second half. There goes the general. My. So 52. I don't think it'll matter too much again, because most of these high tier units will stay in the fight no matter what, until potentially sometimes some of them will rout when they're completely surrounded and there's only like 4 of them left, but even so, losing the general, so that's another unit down. 52. And the next wave is incoming. Can they hang on in there? I think they will, but still. all about endurance, and the Mithril Guard showed themselves to be very durable indeed. The Dalian Paladins, I don't think they would have survived too many waves if there were more, but the Mithril Guard probably could have gone for a whole nother half, to be honest with you. Not sure the Athedain swords are quite that impressive, but they are doing really very well indeed. The Orc Band, really no match for the finest shock troops that Arnor can muster. But they have managed to kill a few in the past few waves, so we'll see if they can keep up their impressive performance. So this is going to be it. The final 3 units are approaching. They are down to 36 men, so it's going to be really close between them and the Dale Paladins. I don't know. It's starting to look like maybe the Dale Paladins might just be able to pip them to the post. We'll see. But they did actually manage to break one of the units before another arrived, so we have a break in the carpet of bodies, only for it to restart here. These orcs. I feel confident in saying that victory will be had by the Athedain swords though. A very strong performance indeed. Here comes the next wave though. Will they be able to hold on? Second place is up for grabs here. Very impressive though. Endurance isn't really something you associate with shock infantry normally, especially unsupported like this, but if you support these guys with some lesser infantry, like even just Arnor militia, you're going to have a lot of success in the field or in a siege. Of course, you'll be facing sturdier opposition than Orc Band a lot of the time, but just the amount of damage and death they've been able to dish out, despite the horrendous numbers disadvantage they've been up against, goes to show that Arnor are going to be a bit of an all-round faction, but with a unit like this, they're going to be very, very handy on the infantry front, by the looks of things. So here we are, the final wave before the final wave, and down to 34, so it is going to be a photo finish here. I don't know though, I still think the Athedain swords can do it. The Orc Band have proven themselves to be very inefficient at dealing with such a unit. Just the attack is too much for them. They are getting a bit of an envelopment here, so maybe the damage they can cause might just be enough, but they need to kill 4 in order for them to be level with the Dale Paladins, and 5 in order to force them into 3rd place. I just don't think the Orc Band have got the attack to be able to do that. Especially if they lose the general in the final push, because then they will all rout early. But I will be using the Rallying Horn, because that's what I did with the Mithril Guard and the Dale Paladins. Whenever available, I will try and rally the Orc Band to fight for a little longer. Still though, I just don't think that they're going to be able to kill off 4 of them. And the Athedain swords can afford to lose 3 and still be in 2nd place. Just the trail of destruction that they've left is impressive. Look at that. From way back there, they've managed to fight their way all the way to here. And they haven't even lost half their unit. So, very impressed with these guys. We'll have to try out some other shock infantry in the future as well. See what's what. Maybe the Haven Guard are still the top dogs. Or maybe the Sons of Argonath of Gondor can do better than the Athedain swords. Maybe the Marshals of the Red have still got something. The Witch Realm Hammers, Temple Inquisitors. There's a lot of options here. Nonetheless, it's almost time to commit the general, and they haven't managed to get another kill in this wave. So I would suggest that the Athedain swords have managed to do it at this stage. So here comes the general. The Rallying Horn might be able to keep this wave's remnants in the fight for a little bit longer as well. That might make a bit of a difference, but somehow I doubt it. But yes, victory will be Arnors. And I'm glad for that. It's nice to have a unit do as well as I feel like it can do. The Helm Hammers, I felt that, like they would have victory, but they didn't. Oh, they've lost 2 more units. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Can the General's unit do it? Can the General's unit force the Athedain swords into 3rd place? Well, this unit has routed entirely. Well, they didn't rally, so as soon as this unit's general dies, that's going to be it. The Orc band will rout in the face of the Athedain swords. But can the Athedain swords sustain? They can afford one more casualty. Or will they be level in second with the Dale Paladins? That's the real question. There's the general. It's going to be very close. It already is very close. After such a performance, I think they deserve seconds, to be honest with you. But can they hold on? They're cutting through this Orc band unit very, very quickly. As soon as that general reaches the front line, it's gonna be all over pretty quickly. And there he is. There's a few Athedain swords over here. One of them's getting stun locked. Still got 32 remaining though. So they're still fine. This unit is wavering as well. So the general's death. The general's bloodied up as well. It's gonna be... if that general dies, this unit will break. 32 men. 31. This is it. 31. Kill him. No, he parried. He parried again. The parry king. He managed to survive an Athedain sword to the face. He's still holding on. It's wavering still. They've still got 31. That general is taking an absolute beating from this Athedain swordsman. And there he goes. Surely the Orc band will rout in the face of that. They're still just wavering. I'm surprised they didn't... oh, they broke. 31. A photo finish. But the Athedain swords just ahead of the Dale Paladins here. Victory for Arnor. That was an impressive performance. Just squeaking into second place in front of the Dale Paladins. Still a little way short of the Mithril Guard, but I'm not sure we'll find anything capable of beating them. But we will try another sword and board unit next time. And I hope you'll join me for that, and I hope you'll join me for the Umbar faction overview, which will be coming soon. Well, faction preview, I should say.